Hello, IDS 104 students, and welcome to your week one module learning community webinar. This week's topic is about digital you, owning your online footprint. As always, your experience here at Southern New Hampshire University is important to us. It is our policy and practice to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If there are aspects of instruction or course design that present barriers to accessibility, please notify the Online Accessibility Center, the OAC, as soon as possible at 866-305-9430. You can also email them at oac@snhu.edu or visit the Online Accessibility Center website. The OAC team is here to help you get content that you may need for your learning style. This could be classroom content, webinar content. If you have questions about this or think this might be a service for you, please reach out directly to the OAC team. A couple of webinar reminders. The learning community webinars are considered an academic space, so always be mindful of your conduct. This also applies to your Brightspace classroom, the SNHU Connect learning environment, and also the YouTube First Year Experience channel pages. These webinars here in the learning community for IDS 104 are not graded. They are not required. However, you will learn about how to do assignments from week to week and/or go over concepts that we are working on in your course. These webinar sessions are offered throughout the term in two different formats. Some of them are on demand, which means that they are pre-recorded and available every Monday of the new week or the new module. And then some you may have that are live sessions. Those live sessions, check the schedule for access and information, dates and times. But if a session is live, they are still always recorded and available on the First Year Experience YouTube pages for IDS 104 within 24 hours. Today's agenda, we're going to welcome you to IDS 104 on your very first week of the term. We're going to talk about the learning community, what it is, how to find it and use it. We're going to make sure you know how to access your class. We're going to talk through some of those top concepts for week one, module one. We're going to go through an assignment overview for week one, module one. Talk about the departments and resources you can utilize for your success, and then end with just making sure you know how to find the learning community webinar and video recordings. So who am I? Just in case you weren't able to come to the preterm webinar or view the preterm webinar, I am Melanie Shop. I have worked at SNHU for 11 years. I teach the courses of IDS 104, IDS 105, and SNHU 107, but I have been in higher education for over 20 years. I have the absolute pleasure of working within our first year experience team here at SNHU. I also am an academic partner, which means that I work with faculty training and curricular development and work with your amazing faculty that are teaching you in the classes. This is me behind the screen. This is my family. A couple of fun facts about me. I love the water. I live just outside of Pensacola Beach, Florida. So I like to joke that I'm a part-time mermaid because I love the beach, the pool, the river, the lake. It doesn't matter. I absolutely love water. I'm an avid road bike cyclist. I love to read. So any reading recommendations, I read all across the genres. Please send them my way. I love a good cup of coffee, and my biggest favorite thing is spending time with loved ones. But if you remember anything for today, it is to know that the learning community and SNHU and your faculty, just like me, are a resource for you and your success here at SNHU. So a lot of students are like, okay, there are so many things, so many platforms, so many places to click and see when I start classes here at SNHU. And I want to make sure that you understand that the IDS 105 learning community is located in what is called SNHU Connect. That's outside your classroom space, okay? Your classroom is that bright space, that learn.snhu.edu. Bright space is where your course assignments are. You can find your reading, your required resources. That's where you turn in things to be graded. The learning community is outside of that classroom space, and it's in SNHU Connect. SNHU Connect is where, on the academic side, you will find specific learning communities for classes just like yours has for IDS 104. It's a place for peer connection, so getting to know other students that have taken these classes or that are taking these classes, but they might not be in your same section. There are webinars every single week. Sometimes those are on demand. Sometimes those are live. On demand just means they're pre-recorded and available for you at your convenience every Monday of every week. Even if it's live, it's always recorded and placed on those First Year Experience YouTube channels. But those webinars go through your course content, concepts that you're covering that week, how to find assignments, and key reminders every single week. We also have these really cool shorter focus videos that kind of just show you more the technical side of things, like how to find the discussion board. For IDS 104, we talked about like what to do and what to expect for your short paper assignments, how to access those activity assignments, and just quick little things about what's due from week to week. So these learning communities on the academic side of SNHU Connect, those peer connections, the webinars, the focus videos just give you extra support and resources for your success here at SNHU. You can also find clubs and organizations on the social side of SNHU Connect. So it's really a cool place for you to explore. The IDS 104 learning community is linked in several places through your IDS 104 class, but just for a quick link, when you're in that Brightspace classroom, if you look at the top, you'll see a help icon. Click the little down arrow, click on Online Student Services, scroll down to SNHU Connect, or you can go to the Start Here area of your class under Learning Modules and click on Learning Community. Once you have course access, you have access to the learning community. So if you can't find it or you have any trouble, make sure to let your faculty member know, or you can always reach out to me too. But there is a designated IDS 104 learning community page. You want to click on that and join it. That is where I post helpful tips for your success, reminders of any live webinar sessions. I also always post like homework support ideas from week to week, in addition to any links for any videos or webinars that might help support your success. Okay, so as a reminder, the IDS 105 learning community is outside your classroom space. It's in SNHU Connect. Nothing is graded there. Okay. Where things are graded is called Brightspace. That is where you log into Brightspace, that learn.snhu.edu, and you will be able to see your course menu, course announcements, learning modules, discussions, your grades. That is where everything needs to be submitted to be gradable. Okay. Couple of things about your class. IDS 104, you do not have a book. There is not a book that you purchase. All material that you need is within the course. So when you're reviewing your course, you want to make sure for each week's module that you click through the module fully and in its entirety, because a lot of reading is listed within your module, or you'll also find links to videos or other online resources under the required resources section. And I will, when we get done today with the main content, take a minute and show you your classroom space so you have an idea of where to click and where to find things. So this week's topic is all about digital communities and digital literacy. So for some of you, you might not be familiar with what digital literacy is. Digital literacy is just knowing how to use technology safely, effectively, and responsibly. And it's more than just being able to like scroll the internet on your computer or your phone. It also encompasses things like understanding how to find information online, knowing which sources to trust in our online spaces. But it also encompasses understanding how to communicate respectfully and clearly online, how to protect your own personal information, and also understanding how you can create content, not just consuming it. Okay, so that's kind of just a quick recap of what digital literacy is and some examples of things to think about that will come in handy for your assignments this week. So a couple of other things I wanted to point out is when you are what's called a good digital citizenship, it helps you be more effective in the online spaces. But sometimes students are like, well, what does it even mean to be like a digital citizen, or to be a good one or an effective one? Well, I'm going to give you 5 tips for your success and things to think about that'll help you work through your assignments this week. So 5 skills that every student should know that help you be a good digital citizen is number 1, that you're inclusive. Being inclusive means that you listen to others, even if they think differently than you. You always treat people with kindness and respect in online spaces. So you're not a keyboard warrior. You are going to be courteous and kind and treat people with that respect and kindness in those online spaces. So an example of that is, when you're in a group chat or a class discussion, you make sure everybody feels welcome to share their ideas. Another skill of a good digital citizen is that you're informed. What that means is that you take the time to double check information as you see it. So you don't just believe something or share something because you see it online. Like, you take a minute and reflect, and before you share it or before you trust that, you are looking at who posted it, why they posted it, and if it's trustworthy. So an example of this is maybe before we're posting a news card article on social media, you're making sure that it's accurate and from a reliable source. Just things to think about. Sometimes in our day-to-day, we might see something and we're like, oh my gosh, that happened, share. And then later we figure out that it wasn't accurate or it wasn't true or there was misinformation that was out there. So just reminding yourself to kind of take a minute and slow down and be informed before we share things. Then another digital citizenship skill is to be engaged. That means that you use the internet and technology to make a difference. Like maybe you speak up about helping others or you join causes that you care about. Examples of this would be like, creating posts to raise awareness for something happening in your community, maybe signing petitions for causes that you believe in. It just means that you're taking part in things, but in a positive manner. The next skill is to be balanced. That means that you are managing your screen time and know when to take a break. Does anybody struggle with this? A lot of times we can really feel tied to our technology, whether it's cell phones, iPads, laptops, computers. This could also encompass like gaming. When you know how to manage your time and take a break, you find a healthy balance between online activities and real life responsibilities. So, a great example of this is before you're watching YouTube or doom scrolling or whatever you might be doing. For example, if you're an SNHU student, you're finishing up your homework before that, or you're unplugging during dinner or other times to spend time with those loved ones. The last skill to think about and consider of being a good digital citizen is that you are alert. You pay attention to how you act online. You make sure that you know how to stay safe and help others feel safe too. So example of this is that you avoid clicking on like sketchy links that might come across in your emails or come across in online forums that you're in. And then you also are a responsible reporter for reporting bullying or harmful behavior if you see it happening online. So, as we wrap up those 5 skills that we just chatted about, I want you to also consider the different types of digital communities that you might interact in, might want to know more about, or might just be aware of. For some of you, some of these types of digital communities might be brand new, or you weren't even sure what a digital community was. Now, in your classroom space, there is a list of the different kinds of digital communities, but I wanted to give you just a really quick overview of what some of these communities might be. So we have learning communities. The IDS 104 class has a learning community. That's basically like an online class discussion group, but there's motivation. It's a connect group. It's a space here where we're learning and working through things actively. These can also be things like how-to and skill building groups. We also have professional and networking communities. Examples of that would be like LinkedIn or professional associations or virtual conferences or military career networks. We have local communities. These are things like our neighborhood or city Facebook groups, those like buy online, swap groups, or any kind of like community or city government pages. We also have support communities. These are things like mental health and recovery groups, parenting or grief support. We also have different support communities for things like health, pregnancy, weight loss, all kinds of things that are out there in our different spaces. We also have communities that can be kind of more like our hobby communities, right? So this could be like if you're really into like gardening or DIYing things. Or maybe you're like part of a live action role play group or like a book club, or maybe you're really interested in like genealogy or like ancestry. Those are kind of hobby communities. Things too like sports card trading. That's another really great example. We also have communities, those fan communities. Like you absolutely love a certain sports team or a certain musician or like group of musicians, or maybe a certain movie or TV shows. There's also things like fan art, fan fiction, and convention groups that are out there, plus those influencers that are out there in those fan communities. And then we have our gaming communities. These are things like online players, multiplayer game chats. We also have the game clubs, and we have Twitch streamers and Discord servers. There's a whole lot of things out there on the internet space for communities. So now that we know what digital literacy is, We know some examples and types of communities that are out there. And then we also know what to kind of expect of what being a good digital citizen is. Let's talk about this week's assignment. So for week 1, module 1 here in your IDS 104 course, you do have a discussion assignment. There's a couple ways you can access your discussions. One, you could go to your Brightspace Classroom, click on Learning Modules, Discussions, and it'll pull up all the discussions for any of the weeks you have assigned. You could also go under Course Menu and Discussions and see all of your discussions there too. So for this week, I want you to remember that whenever you have a discussion assignment, your initial discussion post is always due by Thursdays, 11:59 p.m. And then you want to make sure you respond to at least 2 classmates by Sunday of that same week or before as convenient for your schedule. For week 1, module 1, that initial discussion post needs to be in by that 11:59 p.m. East Coast time on Thursday. After that, it goes to your time zone. Okay, so pay attention to time zones week 1. So for this very first week, for your initial post, this is what you are doing. You're first going to introduce yourself to the class. So share a little bit about yourself, whatever you might be comfortable sharing. This could be, where you're from, your major. It could be a little bit about you, your family, hobbies, whatever you're comfortable sharing. And then you're going to be answering these 3 questions. You're going to introduce yourself, of course, but you're also going to share one platform or digital space where you spend a lot of time or you spend time and why it's meaningful to you. And then in your own words, how do you define digital literacy? And then the third question is, using the platform or digital space that you shared as your example, describe one specific way you use digital literacy to build or maintain relationships online, and how does this reflect your personal communication style or values? Those are the questions you want to make sure you're answering. As a reminder, remember to review the content within the module. Review any required resources, so videos, links to different articles, or other online pieces of information to help support your success in answering the questions. So again, initial discussion post due by Thursday, 11:59 p.m. East Coast time or before as convenient for your schedule. And then you want to make sure you respond to at least 2 of your classmates by Sunday of that same week, 11:59 p.m. or earlier in the week as convenient for your schedule, okay? So that is your very first assignment, is your discussion assignment. You also have a short paper assignment here in week 1, module 1 for IDS 104. So for this short paper assignment, you are answering these 3 questions that are outlined here, and each question has a couple pieces and parts, all right? For this assignment, you are opening up a Microsoft Word document and you are creating your short paper, 1 to 2 pages, doesn't need to be any longer than that. Most students use that Times New Roman font, usually 12 point. If you want to use a different font, not a huge deal. Just make sure it's readable by your faculty. But the most important thing is you want to make sure that you have access to Microsoft Word or something compatible. You do get Office 365 for free as an SNHU student, so I will show you how to find that too. But for your short paper, you're answering these 3 questions. 1, describe a digital community from one of the categories on the provided list. So you will notice under the Module 1 short paper assignment overview, if you scroll down, you will see under supporting materials a list of communities for you to click on. Open up that list. We talked about some today. And you want to review them, and you want to pick the communities that you want to chat about, okay? So for those digital communities you pick, you're going to share the main purpose or focus about it. Who are the people that typically participate in this kind of community, and what tools or platforms do they use to interact or share information, okay? Number 2, describe an additional digital community from one of the categories on that list again. So really you're picking 2, right? Again, same thing. What's the main purpose or the focus? Who participates? What tools or platforms they use to share information? And then question 3 is discuss how each digital community you describe could support your own academic or personal growth. So think about things, how different kinds of communities that you picked and why participating in them can help you be either more motivated or connected, or help you stay on track, or help you reach your goals, and what kind of support or resources could you gain from that, okay? So again, these are the questions that you're answering. Remember, you're just submitting your short paper using a Microsoft Word document, 1 to 2 pages, double space, Times Point New Roman font. Don't overthink those pieces, easy peasy, right? Underneath supporting materials, you will see this list of digital communities. Click the blue, gets you to where you want to go. It'll pull up the document that lists all the communities that we talked about, many of those communities here today. Your short paper is due by Sunday or before, as convenient for your schedule, okay? The other thing I wanted to point out is for your very first week, sometimes things feel overwhelming. You're not sure where to click or what to do or how to find things. That's why we put together webinars like this learning community webinar. And we want to remind you that you have so many resources, people and departments here at the university to help you be successful. First and foremost, if you have any questions on assignments, grades, anything classroom related, always reach out to your instructor first. You can, of course, always tag in your advisor. They're such a helpful person, and they also can connect you to any department that you might need. If there's anything technical, we have an amazing help desk. If maybe you haven't written academically ever, or it's been a long time, we have the wonderful academic support team and the written feedback service. And as a reminder, you do get Office 365 for free as an SNHU student. Bottom line, you have a lot of support with the departments and teams here at SNHU. They are literally a click away, so connect with them for your success. Just a reminder, these webinars are always recorded, whether they're live or on demand, and this is just a quick recap of how to access them. You have webinars every single week. If they were on demand or pre-recorded, they're available by Monday of every week when the new module starts. Assignment help focus videos are kind of a quick little homework help video or show you how to do something like accessing the discussion board or what to do for your short paper. Just as an example, those are located here under the focus link, and these are all underneath the SNHU First Year Experience YouTube page, okay? As a reminder, before I go into the classroom space and kind of show you a few places of where to click and what to do, I just want to remind you that we are so excited for you here at SNHU. We are thrilled that you have chosen us to partner with on your academic journey. We know that there is a lot that you're going to have to be learning and balancing and finding out about yourself and doing new things that sometimes can make us uncomfortable. But no, when we get uncomfortable, we grow, right? And you have so much support here. So I want to tell you that your success is loading. We 100% believe in you. You are worth this journey. And I love this quote by Art Williams. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. I'm telling you it's going to be worth it. It is so worth it, and you are so worth it. Okay. So I wanted to take just a really quick minute, and I'm going to share my classroom space. Now, keep in mind, I am going to try to put it in a couple different views so that you can see it as a student view. But when I do switch it to faculty view, it might look a little bit different than yours. Like, don't think something's wrong on your end. It's just that I have a little bit of a different view. So the biggest thing I wanted to point out first is that learn.snhu.edu, and that is where everything is graded, okay? That is where all the things are graded. So right up here at the top, when you first log in, you will always see a quick little photo, either an image of your instructor or something that they enjoy as a hobby or something that they've posted. And it's really important to make sure that you click on that My Instructor announcement, because it'll go over like who your instructor is, a little bit about them, how to get a hold of them, how you need to get a hold of them, phone numbers, email addresses, all that kind of fun stuff. It's a great way to get to know a little bit of your faculty, okay? The other thing I wanted to point out is I talked a lot about how you can access different resources here and how you get Office 365 for free as an SNHU student. If you click on this help, this little arrow right here, one, you can quickly connect to the IT service desk if you have any technical issues. Two, I wanted to point out these student tutorial videos. These are wonderful, especially if you have been out of school for a while or you're not really sure how to navigate the Brightspace classroom. Click this link, and what it does is it opens up a YouTube page that has all kinds of different videos about how to get to the discussion boards, what to do, how to find different assignments and submit them. It's just really a great place for you to kind of get that technical assistance kind of at your fingertips with a click away. We also have online student services. When you click on online student services, it pulls up all the departments and the teams here at SNHU, okay? Every single department has an email address and a phone number. So you will see the bookstore, academic advising, you'll see the help desk. What I wanted to do is scroll down a little bit where you see this Office 365 and other software. Click the blue, it always gets you where you want to go. This is how you can find the details on how to get Office 365 downloaded to the system that you're using, okay? There's also a quick link here to get into SNHU Connect, so you can find the IDS 104 learning community, but I also wanted to point out, if you click on the blue academic support, it'll pull up their menu of services. And what I wanted to point out is this written feedback service. service. This is where you can upload and submit any SNHU assignment drafts that you have written. This could be discussion assignments, this could be short papers, projects, journals, whatever it is, as long as it's an SNHU writing assignment. But you can upload and submit that draft. You can select the important areas you want your tutor to focus on, and you get feedback to you within 12 hours. It's a great way to kind of get another look at your paper or project, whatever you might be submitting, and make sure you're just on the right track, okay? So I wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. So big places in here, academic support, click the blue, takes you to the menu of services. You can also access the library. We have career services, the wellness team, they're all here. Also how to get that Office 365 for free, okay? Now, the other thing I wanted to point out just really quickly is underneath course menu, when you click that little arrow, remember that I told you could get to the discussion board here. So if you click on discussions, when you do that, it'll pull up the discussions that you have for the entire term. So this general questions area is an answer where you can just have, if you have quick questions that you are public facing. So the biggest thing is if you post in here, everybody sees it. So never post like personal information or grade information. This is a great place if you have a question or concern about the class, or you can't find something or something's not working. Your faculty will get back to you within 24 hours, okay? But you'll see, for example, like it has your week 1 discussion, and you have 3 other discussions too in your class. They'll all be listed underneath there. But you click the blue, gets you to where you want to go. That is one way to find the discussion assignments. You can also find them by going to learning modules. And what I wanted to point out really quick is don't forget to click on this start here area that has your syllabus, which is how many points you have, what's graded, when things are due, classroom rules, all that kind of fun stuff. As you scroll down to it goes over your course. You can have an access here to the learning community, just a really great space with a lot of information that students sometimes miss. But you want to focus in on this module 1. Week 1, when you click on module 1, remember, click the blue and review all of the introductions and overviews. So you're going to pull up module 1. It's going to go over the objectives and an overview of the class, scroll down, arrow over, and you will notice right here, there's quite a lot of reading right here within the module, okay? So review it, take notes on it, whatever you need to do that works best for your learning style. Make sure you scroll all the way down to the end, arrow over. You will see again any resources. So you'll notice there are links to different articles or things, videos that you might need to read for your success. Scroll through those things, watch those things. It'll help you be successful on answering your assignment questions. Okay, there's a lot of content in here. There's also some optional resources that you can have that'll walk you through how to do some of the stuff in your class, like creating a document in Word, and also more information on Office 365 in here too. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that, make sure you knew that all of that was there. You can always scroll down and arrow over. And then of course your discussion is right here again. So you'll see that. And then if you arrow over, you're also going to see your short paper assignment. Make sure you click on guidelines and rubric. It pulls up an overview of the assignment and the directions. Right here was what I was talking about under what to submit and supporting materials. You click on that list of digital communities, and it's going to pull up that list so that you can review it to pick your communities you're going to talk about for that short paper. So it's right here. So I just wanted to show you kind of just really quickly a couple of those things. If you're stuck and not sure how to do anything, or you have questions on anything, remember to reach out directly to your instructor, and then of course always loop in your advisor. You can watch this webinar as many times as you need to for your success. We are so excited to have you here at SNHU. Know that we're proud of you. Know that you are going to be great, and just remember, you got this. Have an amazing week 1.